Wonderful. Now, part of your strategy, and it's a key component, and it's a very important component, is structuring yourself in companies and trusts and that kind of stuff, and making sure that your properties are protected, and that there's risk, it's free of risk and that kind of thing. Can you maybe just elaborate a little bit about that in terms of your philosophy, in terms of structuring properties in a structure like a trust or a company?
Thanks, Neil. That's the foundation for me. If you want to build a skyscraper, you're not going to build it on a weak foundation. So if your intention is to invest in property, and especially if you want to own multiple properties, you got to get your structure right. I always tell my clients, you want to run your property portfolio like a business. And that means three things for me: own entity, own bank account, and financial statements. Meaning you are running this property separately from yourself, because when you do that, and when you do that correctly, there's four benefits that you benefit from. The first one is asset protection. If you structure your property portfolio correctly, you are protecting your assets. And when your assets are protected, it means that if something had to happen with you financially and you are in financial trouble, creditors won't necessarily be able to get to your assets. And that's what asset protection is about. The second one is estate planning. Do you know how expensive it is to die? So when you build a property portfolio, you want to build it in such a way that you can leave it to the next generation without a third of the value of your property portfolio going to government or going to SARS. And then thirdly is financing capability. Now, Neil, most people miss this when they think about structuring, and that is the fact that you can build a significantly bigger property portfolio and get financing for a bigger property portfolio if you don't build it in your own name, but you build it in something like a company. And then lastly is, of course, the tax benefits. I sit with a lot of people that are on a 45% tax bracket now. They own a lot of properties, and all the profit that they are making on those properties, they're paying 45% tax on. Whereas if you structure it correctly, for example, in a company, you only have 27% tax that you are paying. So from a tax perspective, there's a lot of benefits in the right structure. Now, the structure that we advise for our clients is to buy your properties in a company, but for a holdings trust to hold the shares in that company. And building your property portfolio in a structure like that offers or gives you all four of those benefits.
Wonderful.